Are you guys ready to move on to Derp of the Week?
Oh, yes. I totally forgot about this. I'm buzzing.
I'm reading my notes and I have no idea where I've written this. But first guy is called Eric Schneiderman. Okay?
Right.
Remember this name, Eric Schneiderman. Now, what I've written here, which I don't understand why, is afterwards I put in brackets, the Jewish Spiderman, question mark. I have no idea that. And then, so I've got Eric Schneiderman, the Jewish Spider-Man, is asking a federal judge for an injunction. I can't remember who this guy is, actually. I think he is... Oh, yeah, he is the state's attorney. So he's, like, in charge of the police, basically, right, in New York. He's asking a federal judge for an injunction against pro-life protesters who harass patients, this is what he describes, spew death threats at supporters and staff at an abortion clinic in Queens, New York. What he says they do is they use renal abuse, threats of violence, lies about the clinic's hours to keep patrons from receiving healthcare services. He also said the tactics used to harass and menace choices, patients, families, and volunteers and staff are not only horrifying, they're illegal.
Does he genuinely refer to abortion clinics as a healthcare service?
Yes, he did.
All right,
reproductive healthcare service. Okay.
Oh, same. Yeah. Okay.
Now I've got a last quote from him here. He says, so this guy is literally trying to sue pro-lifers, right? And he's the leader of the police, so this would make me scared, right? And his reasoning is that they are being violent outside abortion hours, right? And he says the law guarantees women the right to control their own bodies and access the reproductive health care they need without obstruction. We'll do what it takes to protect those rights for women's accords in New York.
Sounds to me like the guy might have a sort of a political agenda there that perhaps he shouldn't.
It really bothers us how people will use absolutely any term except abortion. Like they'll say, like pregnancy healthcare. There's nothing healthy or caring about that. There's absolutely nothing. Healthcare has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite. I know whose health you're not caring for.
Yeah.
Now this is the other thing, right? So remember I said it was for their violent behavior. Now we only have two sources who say what they do, right? You tell me if this sounds like violent behavior, okay? So they have a quote from a protester. Your money supports the clinic, so you're a murderer. Don't go in there. They will convince you to kill your baby. That's how they make money. Is that a violent thing to do? Shout that at somebody, do you think? From behind a barrier, by the way. They're always kept behind barriers.
No, it's true.
Yeah. Another thing, some patients who manage to make it past the protesters still have difficulty accessing care. Because they arrive at the clinic shaking and crying, patients in this traumatized condition require additional time and counseling by staff who must reassure the patients
that it's okay to kill their kids.
Yeah, basically. So that's another thing, that it slows these people down from killing their baby.
Don't be dissuaded from killing your kids just because these people say it's a really awful thing to do. Here, come on, give us the money, and we'll kill your kid for you. No.
This is a quote from somebody called Letita James. She's a public advocate for abortion. It is unconscionable, which I had to look at what that means. It means not right or reasonable. But any person will be subject to harassment, threats, and even physical violence for simply seeking or providing medical care.
There's no care.
What medical care?
Yeah, isn't that such a straw man argument? If you ever saw one.
It is, yeah.
It's a pure lack of understanding, man. It's just not understanding what it is people go there for.
Yeah.
And oh man, medical care.
So and as well, the huge fallacy in this. We've said this before. You being pro-abortion, any abortion argument is entirely reliant on the dehumanization of the baby.
Yeah.
No matter what, the baby has to not be a person in order for the argument to work, right? But I'm looking at all of this, and I was thinking to myself, like, none of this is as horrible as actually being killed before being born. You know what I mean? It's so backwards. And to think he's actually gonna get these people. A lot of these people are literally just old ladies and church groups and stuff. And to think he's gonna seek an injunction against them to have them prosecuted for violence is absolutely ridiculous.
He's probably been paid to do that.
I think so.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I obviously don't want to come out and say that, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Well, it does happen a lot.
Do we have any other contestants?
Yes, we do. So
Is Mr. Zuckerberg on there again?
no, he's not. So have you guys heard of Sarah Silverman?
Yes.
Yeah, I know of her.
So she does she has a new Netflix program.
Oh, great.
Okay. And the advert for the
Bill
program...
Nye saves the world too. Sarah Silverman saves the world.
Oh man, Bill Nye should have been...
I just hate her whiny voice. She ruined School of Rock, in my opinion. Or came very close to ruining School of Rock.
Was she in School of Rock?
Yeah, I had no idea.
She was that guy's horrible girlfriend, wasn't she?
Oh, no way.
You know that pushover guy's like really awful girlfriend.
Right, yeah. I forgot about that.
I'm pretty sure that was Sarah Silverman, like.
Right. Anyway, yeah. Go on.
So she's done a promo. It's only like 2 minutes long.
Hey everyone, if you want to watch this promo from Sarah Silverman, the link is in the description, but be warned, there is bad language and some crude humour in there, so yeah. Anyway, back on with the show. Guess what I'll not be watching on Netflix?
Netflix has a really bad... almost all of their comedy specials are terrible. Really terrible.
So is that what it is? Is it a comedy special, or is it like
it's stand-up. Right. It's a stand-up evening.
Alright, okay. I was just... To be fair, that's more of a relief. I thought it was going to be like a big old TV show thing. Yeah.
But, this is... do you remember Amy Schumer's? She did one called the Leather Special, and it literally got
slated.
Yeah, she did. It made Netflix completely rethink their rating algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. They changed it to the percentage system after...
Why? What was their thing?
She did a Leather Special, right? And it was massively promoted everywhere. And obviously, she's very popular amongst far-left people and just atheists and progressives and stuff. And basically, she did this stand-up special, right? And now I've actually seen there's a challenge where can you watch that the whole way through because it's just so bad. And all of the jokes are based around a vagina and stuff, and really just disgusting jokes, and jokes actually stolen. And basically, Netflix made this huge big deal. They released it, and then it was totally panned to 1-star reviews, right? She then comes out and says the only reason it's a 1-star review is because a bunch of racist
misogyny.
Basically. And she said they flooded the rating system, and then Netflix redid their whole rating system because.
Why does everyone from the left and all these super liberal people act like they're fighting some uphill battle and they're outnumbered? Do you know what I mean? They act like they're some real noble sort of person for fighting against masses of racists that they live around, sort of thing.
But what do you think then about Sarah Silverman? What's your take on that? My first take is that it's not funny. There's nothing about that's funny.
No.
I mean,
well, that's something that I notice as well about these things. When people try and attack God with, when comedians try and do it, they seem to sacrifice the comedy. Sausage Pie could have been such a funny film if it wasn't pushing an atheist agenda.
Yeah.
And it
was it?
I mean, proper.
I never actually saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the whole film was just about how we should stop sort of being religious, basically, and we should like
Really?
just do what we want and just have sex all the time and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's last time that ever happened in any society. It's ended in total disaster.
Yeah,
Done that.
I mean, there was a Jewish piece of food and an Arabic piece of food throughout the whole film, and they have like this animosity between them, and by the end of it, like they end up having like gay sex and stuff like that,
Oh
and
my
like
god.
all sorts of mental stuff, and it was just really silly.
Sounds like that ice cream thing from Bill Nye
Yeah.
Saves the World.
Yeah,
was
but like
ridiculous.
the thing that
horrible.
got me about it was that the characters and the setting and stuff could have been really good, but the comedy was sacrificed just for the fact that they were pushing an agenda. And maybe I'm biased because obviously I don't agree with the agenda. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, I went and watched it with two people that aren't Christians, and I don't think they found it particularly funny either.
That's interesting. So do you think? I mean, I think when something gets too political, it stops being funny. You know, it's not about just jest anymore. It's about you hate something.
Well, there's an element of like comedy of it where comedy is almost. It's got to perhaps be critical or be a narrative of the real world in some way. Or a lot of the time it does. Like a lot of comedy relies on that. But I don't know. I think when it becomes about telling people what to believe and stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
when you suddenly think that you've got some moral basis as a comedian, you know,
Yeah.
or like
Well,
you're philosophically higher than you've got some sort of philosophical authority, like.
I think that's just the
When it's
problem with
plain to see
celebrities
from
in
watching
general.
that film or from watching Sarah Silverman that she doesn't know anything about philosophy or morality. She's
that's
never
true.
really thought about it properly. She's thought about what she can get a cheap laugh out of.
That's true.
She's become a feminist and become really popular about it, and now
Yeah,
she
she's
wants to
thought
go
about
into everything else because
she's
that's
thought
what
about
you do.
she's thought about trying to appeal to a demographic rather than
Yeah, exactly.
the actual argument and like how she can actually have a strong argument.
It's a demographic of shallow arguments.
Yeah, she's almost accomplished her goal just by the argument that she's got rather than the strength of it.
Yeah.
Because none of the people that are going to watch her for the agenda that she's pushing are actually going to look at the counter argument.
Yeah. People are way too satisfied with very poor arguments these days.
Well, it's
You know what I
shallow. There's an element of shallowness to the whole thing. You're satisfied with the first argument you hear as long as it's the one that actually affirms what you already believe anyway and doesn't challenge you to change at all.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. People will hop from one argument to the next until they find one that doesn't mean they've got to change their life in any way.
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable at all. This kind of, like teaching young people to think like that isn't going to work.
It's not conducive to learning, is it? You're never going to learn anything if you only ever choose to believe stuff that you already believe.
So far, there's another one. Okay. So far, you've had Eric Schneiderman, the Jewish Spiderman, who is seeking an injunction against pro-lifers for simply being pro-lifers.
Mm-hmm.
You have Sarah Silverman, who is being Sarah Silverman this week. And then your third one. Now, this is a bit interesting because the first one is some guy who's doing something that is morally questionable. The second one is somebody doing something that is morally questionable. And the first two are obviously, the first one's about morals. The second one is more just about like kind of about attacking God. The third one is about morals in a very different way. So the third contender is, are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Marvel Comics, right?
Oh no.
What did you say?
So, oh no, I don't want them to be dirt of the week. I like Marvel.
But here's the thing,
Yeah.
right? So, Marvel Comics, we kind of semi-covered this one. So Marvel Comics are performing terribly, right?
Right.
Because they've gone clearly far left. They have these huge diversity quotas. They have these very terrible characters. Yes. They're replacing, and here's the reason why they're becoming unpopular. The writers of the comic openly express distaste towards fans. Like, somebody will ask them, why does your comic not sell well? And they'll say, oh, because all our fans are racist and all of this and homophobes.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So Bruce Banner dead, replaced with a Chinese guy. Captain America is actually a Nazi. He's been replaced with somebody called America. I can't remember the last name.
No way.
Right, but
Hang on,
basically,
sorry. Captain America has been replaced by another character because Captain America is a Nazi.
Yeah, he was a
Yes.
Hydra double agent the whole
Yeah, he
time,
was.
wasn't he?
No way.
Yeah. And here's the thing as well. So he was replaced by this.
Mind
This
blown.
is the weirdest thing. The writing of the new comics is so bad, right? But basically, he's been replaced by this woman, and she's called America. I don't remember her last name. She's Latin American, first thing.
Right.
Second thing, this is where it's going to throw you. She's from an alternate dimension. Okay.
Alright.
In this alternate dimension, 2 women can be biological parents, so she has 2 mums.
Oh
Of
god.
course.
This is where it gets weirder. Okay.
Talk
And
about
this is
breaking
something
down the
that
barrier between male and female. Goodness me.
Yeah. This is where it gets weirder.
She's
so
got a
there was-
penis on her back.
No. But basically, let me just start by saying she's an open racist and she's an open sexist in that she hates white guys. And this has happened before. Like, Storm? Remember Storm from the
Yeah.
X-Men and Black Panther? They have now found, this is not a joke, they have now found an all-black superhero team. And then their whole purpose of a team is to keep white people out of Brooklyn. Right? That is not a joke.
Way.
Yeah, seriously.
Storm
was
and
cancelled.
Black Panther are doing this.
Yeah. Right? But here's where America Ferrera gets a bit ridiculous. This was pointed out by somebody, and this is just stupid. This is just bad writing. This was pointed out by somebody, a YouTube channel. But basically, she refers to her mums, right, as mums. So, like, she goes, mums, come over here. Mums,
Yeah.
mums, do this. And this guy was saying on this YouTube channel, this really made me laugh. He went, when your kid wakes up in the morning, he doesn't refer to you and your wife as a singular noun. Like, he doesn't wake up and go, parents. Do you know what I mean? They're desperately trying to normalize this, and it just doesn't come across as normal.
Shoving it down your throat.
Yeah. And obviously the fans are upset because all the characters that they care about, Hawkeye's been replaced by his daughter.
It's like the sacrifice in the comedy thing, isn't it? You're sacrificing what it really should be, what the purpose of it really should be, by pushing an agenda.
Yeah, the characters that everyone loves for like multiculturalism.
And Marvel goes through this cycle. It is something it's not foreign to Marvel. That's why we've got Amazing Spider-Man, why we've got Ultimate Spider-Man, and why we've got the Fantastic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They'll do a series until they ruin it by basically trying to fix something that ain't broken. They'll go completely balmy with something.
Here's
Looking
the
forward
thing,
to
though.
coming on and going back in time and
They'll-
resetting everything
yeah,
back to the better way it was.
They'll kill a superhero and then regret it because they then want the superhero back because all the people that like the superhero have stopped reading the comics. Like as much as I liked the Civil War comics, they killed Thor in it, and I'm thinking,
Oh, yeah.
well, that's as soon as you kill off one of the superheroes, it sort of spells the beginning of the end of that series, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. Well, it's not like Thor as well has been replaced by a woman. And then obviously the thing so if you look at DC, right? So Marvel's sales average 20,000, which is incredibly poor. DC's sales average in the hundreds of thousands per comic book. And DC is doing this diversity thing too, but the difference is when DC does it, they write incredibly deep characters who have real flaws, and they write incredibly compelling stories and things like that. So nobody cares.
And what? So they're adding characters on rather than replacing them, or
that's the other thing. So Marvel will say, "Well, you're going to have it like that, and that's the way it is. We're killing this guy, and now this guy's in, so enjoy it." DC will add somebody new, and that's kind of the difference. They celebrate the older characters while trying to introduce new ones. Which is
it's almost like they think that there's some sort of past that they've got to erase. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we've got to sort of make up for our sort of unenlightened ways of the past, where all that, I don't know, it's mental.
Have they replaced Black Widow with a male? Because if they haven't, then it's just sexist, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
It's like next they're going to have it where one of the one of the female characters just suddenly puts on loads of weight, you know.
Yeah. And still like does backflips and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we don't want to be sizist.
Yeah.
And
it's
obviously,
like- yeah.
you know, people, you know, real big people can do all these acrobatics just the same as everyone else, just to keep it equal.
Yeah, definitely.
You know.
Well, I mean, that guy, that like Southern American ninja who's always on Facebook would have something to say. Like,
Oh yeah.
you've seen the state of him. He's doing backflips and he's back on and everything.
I'm
Oh,
sure.
beast.
I'm sure he'd be better at it though. Do you know what I mean? If he
Well,
was,
yeah, if he was
if
fit.
he was a bit skinnier, yeah, he would, yeah. Well, I don't know. Would you say he's unfit?
Well, I mean, well, no, he's got to be canny fit. He's got to be canny fit to be
I think
acrobatic. But I mean,
that guy solely on his own has blurred the line of what fitness truly is.
well, yeah.
Well, he's an exception to the rule, isn't he? He's not the
Yeah.
rule.
He's a monster, is what he is.
That's true. What have I created?
He's
But-
like that Bob guy in Tekken.
Bob, yeah.
Which Tekken was this?
One of the
Blood,
like
dude.
later Tekkens, there's this guy in it that gets introduced. He's just round. He's just straight up round.
Oh,
But he's
played
like
Tekken 3.
he's like one of the best characters.
Yeah.
That's
Not
funny.
just this though. So this is another reason why Marvel are nominated for DOTW. So they've also just announced they're going to be increasing the prices of all of their comic books.
All
That
right.
sounds like a good
Simultaneously-
strategy.
Yeah, no. Simultaneously, DC have announced they're going to be lowering the price of all their comic books.
Yeah, that's gonna work out. That's running them straight into the ground.
Well, I mean, you think that, but at the end of the day, a comic's really the forefront of their priorities right now.
That's true.
And you know, the whole film game, DC's losing on that, so it makes sense that they would plow a lot of effort into
Yeah.
the comic books. So,
Unless like I've heard that the new Spiderman film has a lot of kind of social justice warrior themes, but it's still a good film, so you don't care. You know what I mean? Like, which I kind of respect. But I heard a theory from an industry insider who said he thinks Marvel are trying to run themselves into the ground on purpose because obviously they
Right.
got the golden ticket. They've been bought by DC now, and DC.
sorry,
basi-
Marvel has.
Yeah,
Oh right.
not DC. Sorry, Disney.
Disney. I was gonna
Disney.
say that.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
right. Like DC. Crazy.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Yeah,
The
DC bought
crossovers.
Marvel, and now we're making them do all these terrible things.
Yeah.
Yeah. The crossovers would be fantastic. To be fair,
Yeah.
it would be unreal.
But he has a theory that
I
now,
think it would be a mess personally, but yeah. Anyway,
yeah. So like, it just doesn't. It's not smart. What they've done is just not smart by any stretch of the imagination. So they're trying to get rid of the comics element of the business, and it is an embarrassment now. Like, if you look at Marvel films, how massively overly successful they are, and then how the comics are absolutely trailing. The amount of comics that they've cancelled after the second issue is
it's a
insane.
shame, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. All right, so your options are Marvel Comics for screwing over their readers, Eric Schneider and the Jewish Spiderman for attempting to prosecute pro-life group for being pro-life, and Sarah Silverman, who did an incredibly distasteful and unfunny promo deliberately mocking Christian values.
Schneider, dude. I think Spider-Man, man.
You're voting
Yeah.
Schneider?
I'm thinking Jewish Spider-Man as well, partly because of the name. but
Silverman
also
at a
because-
close second.
Yeah, it's a pretty huge div, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
prosecuting pro-life as for being pro-life, it doesn't really make sense.
Okay, well, congratulations to Eric Schneiderman. You, sir, have won the official Derp of the Week cone that you will wear on your head at all times. Congratulations, buddy.
Well done.
We
I'm
knew
never
you
gonna
had it.
get
in
over
you.
his name, Schneiderman. That's so good. The Jewish Spider-Man.
Congratulations, my man.
You know what I think? I'm just deeply offended by his name. I think
So,
he rather than trying to get people prosecuted for being pro-life, he needs to be prosecuted himself for not having changed his name to Schneider Woman.
Oh, I think you've got a point there, man. It is offensive.
Hmm.
I might admit, no, I won't. I was going to say I'd tweet him, Schneider man, how sexist. You know, I will.
All right.
Where are you, buddy?
I don't know, like, we've already ruined his day.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be
We've
ruined for
ruined,
the rest of the
we've
month,
ruined
mate.
this
I don't
guy's
think-
life.
You don't need to set the rest of the liberal left on him, like, as well.
Can you imagine? Eric Schneiderman steps down from office. After-
Resigns. Refuses to apologise for not changing his name.